Good morning and a warm welcome to the students of Kalaria School. Today, myself, Rachi Lakhani, is going to teach you social, and today we are going to have a history topic whose name is Arrival of Europeans in India. Students, today in this chapter we are going to see that how the European countries, with the intention of the trade, slowly and gradually came to our country India, and we the Indians gave them a chance to have a ruling system in our country India. Now previously the Arab merchants were coming in our country India with the intention of trade, and the different commodities were very famous in the European markets, and they were silk, cotton cloth, muslin, black pepper, spices, etc. Now the people, the Arab traders, they were using the land route to have a trade in our country India, but slowly and gradually they find difficulty to have the transportation in a bulk from our country India through the land route. So the people of the European countries decided to have the discovery of sea route to our country India, and the first person who decided to have the discovery of sea route to our country India, that was Christopher Columbus. Now this was a person from Italy. Now this person started his journey. He first of all decided, with the permission of the king and the queen, this person Christopher Columbus, who was born in Italy and a great explorer of Italy, decided to have a discovery of sea route to our country India. And the intention was to have the advantages of different commodities from our country India. So this person started his journey in the year 1492 with his 3 ships. Now this person was having a wrong misconception that by sailing straight position he is going to reach India. So he started his journey through thought. He thought to move east via west, and finally, instead of reaching India, he reached America. Till as long as he was living, he was having a wrong conception and misconception that actually he was thinking that he had discovered India, but actually the particular part, Caribbean island, which was being discovered by Christopher Columbus, that was known as America. Still also that particular part which was been discovered by Christopher Columbus, that was known as West Indies, and the people of that area are known as Red Indians. Now the second person who decided to have the discovery of sea route to country India, that was Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama was a person who was a Portugal explorer. He decided that I am going to have a discovery of sea route to our country India, and finally he started his journey and he reached India on 22nd May 1498. Now this explorer started, Christopher Columbus was having misunderstanding that going straight he is going to reach India, that is via west to east, but this person started his journey from Portugal, that is Lisbon, just encircling, coming towards the ending position of Africa, that is Cape of Good Hope. Nowadays we are considering Cape of Good Hope as Cape Town. Just encircling that particular part of Africa, he finally reached the part of our country India, that was Calicut, on 22nd May 1498. During that time, King Zamorin was ruling in Calicut. Now, Portuguese along with Vasco da Gama got the permission from King Zamorin to have a trading relation with our country India. Finally, Vasco da Gama along with Portuguese people, they established their first port on the part of Calicut in the year 1500 CE. They came to our country India in the year 1498. Within the span of 2 years only, with the permission of King Zamorin, they established their fort in Calicut in the year 1500 CE. Within 6 years of time period, they conquered our Goa. Later on, within 100 years of span of time, they established their power on Mangalore, Cochin, Goa, Diu, Mumbai and the islands of Lanka. Slowly and gradually, the Portuguese decided to have the trading relation in Bengal. Now, the behavior of Portuguese was not very good with the people of Bengal. And seeing all this thing, Subedar of Bengal complained to Shah Jahan, who were ruling in Delhi. Now, with the permission of Shah Jahan, the permission was given to demolish the particular ships which was on the banks of river Hooghly, and finally the Portuguese ships were being demolished and they were having only the 3 trading centers to rule after the demolition of their ships on the bank of river Hooghly, and the part which was being ruled by Portuguese were Diu, Daman and Goa. After Portuguese were having a limited territory to rule on some part of our country India, that was Diu, Daman and Goa. Later on, after the Portuguese people, the Dutch people came to our country India. All the European countries who came to our country India, first of all, they were having only one intention, that is having the trade. But when they came to our country India, when they come to contact with our people of our country India, they realize that we are not having the unity in ourselves, and slowly and gradually with the intention of trade, they moves towards the intention of ruling in our country India. Now, talking about the Dutch people, they established their forts in Pulicat and Madras. Later on, they established their trading center at Agra in the year 1663 CE. Now, Dutch people, after the Portuguese rule came to an end, they came to our country India in the 16th century. During that time only, the Britishers were having the intention and having the interest to have a trade relation with our country India. Now, when the Britishers came to our country India, first of all, entering to our country India, they have taken the permission from Queen Elizabeth I, who was the Queen of England in the year 1600 CE. Later on, after 8 years of time period, they decided to have the trading system or trade relation with our country India, and the first ship which arrived in India and at the port of Surat in the year 1608 CE. During that time, Captain William Hawkins was the first British to set foot in our country India. The two brothers, Sir Thomas Roy and William William Hawkins came to our country India with the intention of trade. But during that time, Jahangir was ruling in Surat. When William Hawkins asked permission to have trade in Surat, Jahangir refused to give permission to have trade in Surat, and the reason was the Portuguese people. Slowly and gradually, the Mughals were getting irritated because of the behavior of the Portuguese people, and because of that only Jahangir refused not to give permission to William Hawkins. Later on, Sir Thomas Roy got the permission to have trade in Surat, and afterward Shah Jahan gave permission to have a trading center in Bengal. Now, as the Dutch people were not so much strong, they were not able to have a great competition with the Britishers. Now, after Britishers came to our country India, the last one who came to our country India, the European country, was the French. Now, when the Britishers were having a good trade relation with the people and the Mughal emperor of our country India, the first competitor who have a great competition with the Britishers, they were the French. Now, during 1600 CE, after getting the permission from Queen Elizabeth, Britishers established East India Company to have a trade with the people of our country India. So when French people, the European country that was French, when came to our country India, they established a company named French East India Company in the year 1664 CE. When they came to our country India, they established their factories in Surat, Machilipatnam and Puducherry. Now, along with the Britishers, the French was only having the intention that along with a trade, slowly and gradually, they want to have a ruling system in our country India. And due to that intention only, the French and the Britishers were having a great competition with one another. There were many innumerable battles with the French and the Britishers for the having ruling system in our country India. But as Britishers have got a great army, a great weapons, a great cannons, and finally the Britishers were won with the battles with the French people. French retained their control over Puducherry, Ma and Chandranagar. Later on, as there was a great competition between French and the Britishers, finally the Britishers got a chance. Along with a trading, they started ruling in our country India. Now here, British trade in Bengal. Now Britishers were having the intention to have trade in our country India. They came with our country India in the year 1608 with the two brothers Sir Thomas Roy and William Hawkins. Slowly and gradually they started the trade in Bengal on the banks of river Hooghly in the year 1651 CE. Later on, Shah Jahan, Jahangir gave them the permission to have a trade in Surat, and later on Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb gave them the permission to have a trade without paying good taxes. Slowly and gradually the income of East India Company was having more and more profit, because as they were not paying the taxes, they were earning more and more profit from the Indian commodities which were being exported and imported from our country India. Now, slowly and gradually, as the Britishers were not paying the taxes, the income of Bengal was decreasing day by day, and because of that, the Nawab of Bengal, that was Murshid Quli Khan, opposed for the Britishers for not paying the taxes. This dispute kept on recurring even during the time of Ali Vardi Khan. But after Ali Vardi Khan, his son Siraj-ud-Dowla finally have a great fight and a competition to the Britishers for not paying the taxes. Now, Siraj-ud-Dowla was a person who was very firm for his decision. Like Murshid Ali Khan, Ali Vardi Khan, they were only opposing and just saying to the Britishers, if you want to have a trade, you have to pay the tax. But finally, Siraj-ud-Dowla was very strict to the decision which was being taken by Murshid Ali Khan and Ali Vardi Khan. He was continuously forcing and saying to the Britishers that if you want to have a trade, then you have to pay the tax. Without paying the tax, you are not allowed to have a trade relation with our country India. Indian merchants, other European countries were paying a completely taxes to our country India, but only Aurangzeb was given the permission to East India Company that they don't have to pay the tax. So Siraj-ud-Dowla opposed and said to British East India Company that if you want to have a trade, you have to pay the tax. Now Siraj-ud-Dowla became Nawab in the year 1756 CE. Now, as the British East India Company was helping the competitors of Siraj-ud-Dowla, now Siraj-ud-Dowla became very much firm that by hook or crook, if the Britishers want to have a trade in my country India or in Bengal, they have to pay the taxes. And because of that, Siraj-ud-Dowla with a great army attacked the forts and the trade centers which was being handled by Britishers. Now, it was not under the control of the Britishers to handle Siraj-ud-Dowla. So, a European person or a European officer, that was Robert Clive, was being called by England people and just to handle Siraj-ud-Dowla the situation not to paying the taxes. And by this way, Robert Clive came to our country India. There was a great talk, negotiation between Robert Clive and Siraj-ud-Dowla. But Siraj-ud-Dowla as was very firm to the decision that whosoever who want to have a trade in Bengal to pay the taxes. Now here Robert Clive was a person who was being sent from England to India to handle Siraj-ud-Dowla and to have the continuation of trading in Bengal without paying the taxes. So Mir Zafar was given a bribe by Robert Clive. He said to Mir Zafar, who was the commander-in-chief in the army of Siraj-ud-Dowla, the bribe was given that if you are going to support us to defeat Siraj-ud-Dowla in the battle, you are going to be the next king or next Nawab of Bengal. And finally, Mir Zafar decided that he is going to support to defeat Siraj-ud-Dowla as he was having a bribe from Robert Clive to become the Nawab. And the first battle which was fought on the land of our country India, that was the Battle of Plassey. In the year 1757, the Battle of Plassey was fought between Siraj-ud-Dowla and the Britishers. As was being promised by Mir Zafar, the Siraj-ud-Dowla was with a betrayal being just defeated and murdered by Robert Clive. And finally, the decision which was being given by Robert Clive to Mir Zafar after the murder of Siraj-ud-Dowla, the next king or the Nawab of Bengal was being made by Mir Zafar. Later on, again after being defeated defeating Mir Zafar, was pleased to become the Nawab after being defeating Sirajuddaulah in the Battle of Plassey. Now, here it is being said that it was the first battle by the Britishers to be won on the land of our country India, and it was also considered as the turning point for the Britishers to start a trading or having the ruling system in our country India. As been promised by Robert Clive, after the death of Sirajuddaulah, Mir Zafar became the Nawab of Bengal. Slowly and gradually, as the problem which was being faced by Sirajuddaulah, Mir Zafar faced the same problem. Slowly and gradually, the Britishers were not paying the taxes, and Mir Zafar was not able to maintain the particular trade and the centers for the Bengal. So Mir Zafar opposed and asked Britishers to pay the taxes. Now Britishers finally come to realize that Mir Zafar is also a particular person who is not going to support the Britishers, and finally Mir Zafar was being replaced by his son-in-law, that was Mir Qasim. After being replacing Mir Zafar, Mir Qasim became the Nawab of Bengal. Now, slowly and gradually, which was the problem which faced by Murshid Ali Khan, Ali Vardi Khan, Sirajuddaulah, Mir Zafar, Mir Qasim also faced the same thing. Slowly and gradually, when the Britishers were not paying the taxes, the problem arose not for maintaining the Bengal territory, and there was a great battle between the army of the Britishers and the army of Mir Qasim in the year 1763, in which Mir Qasim was being defeated by Britishers. Later on, he got a chance to accept himself from that particular battlefield. Later on, within a 1 year of time period, he just reorganized the army along with the three forces, that was Nawab of Awadh, Sirajuddaulah, and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. Now, along with the three army people, the three emperor, they decide to defeat the Britishers. And the second battle, that was the Battle of Buxar in the year 1764. Here, the Britishers adopted the policy of divide and rule. They divided this particular three emperor and the three empire into different parts, and by this way the policy of divide and rule policy, they in the Battle of Buxar, they defeated all the three people, that was Nawab of Awadh, Sirajuddaulah, and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II, and by this way Mir Qasim was also being defeated by Britishers. And after that, Robert Clive, who was again being gone to England, was called back by the Britishers of India and was given the responsibility to handle the particular part of the territories and being controlled by Robert Clive. Slowly and gradually, they established their power in Bengal and later on across all over the nation. And by this way, it was being said as Battle of Plassey was the turning point for the Britishers, not only to start the trade but also to establish their power in our country India. Now let us have the recap of the whole chapter by having a recap of the events. Now the first event, that is the year 1498. On this year, Vasco da Gama from Portugal found sea route to India. Second one, 1600 CE, British established East India Company. Third one, 1608 CE, the first ship of East India Company arrived at Surat port. Fourth one, 1651 CE, Britishers established fort in Bengal on the banks of river Hooghly. Fifth one, 1664 CE. French people established French East India Company. Sixth one, 1756 CE. Siraj ud-Dawla became the Nawab of Bengal. Seventh one, 1757 CE. Siraj was defeated and murdered in Battle of Plassey. Eighth one, 1764. Mir Qasim was defeated in Battle of Buxar. Last one, that is ninth one, 1765. Robert Clive himself became the Nawab of Bengal. So by this way, I end my chapter. Thank you and have a nice day.